All through 2024, I heard from multiple movie critics how terrific and great the film Immaculate was. So when I sat down to watch it, I was pretty excited. The movie has solid acting, great cinematography, and utilizes incredible locations. However, the film, in my opinion, is overrated, not really scary, and misses a chance to do something really special. In this episode, we'll dive in to the 2024 horror film, Immaculate, and we'll see how this film could have been so much better. The film begins by showing a nun running away and four nuns following her, breaking her leg, and then burying her alive. Soon we see the main character, Sister Cecilia, played by Sydney Sweeney. She heads to Italy and is joining a historic convent out in the country. She begins learning the ropes, and after some time, she discovers she's pregnant, although she hasn't had any sexual intercourse. Hence the name, Immaculate, for the movie title. The movie slowly builds, and we soon learn that the leaders of the convent artificially inseminated her with a holy nail that crucified Jesus. In time we learn they have been doing this to all the nuns in hopes of rebirthing the Messiah. This idea is about as silly as it sounds. It doesn't really invoke the feelings of dread or terror. Eventually in the film, Sister Cecilia discovers how she got pregnant, fakes a miscarriage to try and get to a hospital, and is taken back and held prisoner. She then tries to escape, fails, and then kills the leaders in the end. In the final scene, she gives birth and then crushes her newborn with a rock. While the film is certainly worth a watch, I'm going to start by discussing the bad in the movie and then move on to the positives. One of my least favorite parts in the film was the selection and casting of main antagonist, Father Sal Tedeschi, played by actor Alvaro Morte. Morte is best known for his role as the professor in the Netflix hit series Money Heist. And maybe it's just me, but while I think Morte is an incredible actor, I just don't see him as the villain. The movie has another big flaw, and I'm not sure why it was included. In one scene, Sister Cecilia goes to the window, and a crow flies and sits on the windowsill. Crows, though, are often said to be messengers of Satan. When I saw this, I thought for sure that she was going to birth the Antichrist. If you recall the movie, The First Omen was released right around the same time when Immaculate was released. It follows the story of the nun who birthed Damien. The prequel of the classic film The Omen I thought was fantastic. It was better than the Omen remake and any of the Omen sequels. The Immaculate storyline goes in another direction. Rather than birthing something evil, it suggests evil comes from science, the church, and mankind. To me, I just don't find this to be scary. I believe that the script might have even gone in this direction because they didn't want to appear to be ripping off The First Omen. I think this was a mistake though, and the film could have still gone this route and made a good movie. We've seen this before with other films. We saw two movies, Deep Impact and Armageddon, in the early 2000s deal with the scenario of a meteor coming toward Earth. They both arrived around the same time and managed to be successful and entertaining. One other flaw has to do with just the science itself. In particular, the nail from the cross. The science has to at least be somewhat believable. Are we to believe after centuries that DNA is still intact from the nail? DNA can only stay viable from dried blood for months in ideal conditions. So how are they getting this DNA exactly to inseminate her? The movie simply doesn't even try to explain it, but just shows the lab Father Tedeschi works in. One other thing the movie doesn't explain is how they discovered Sister Cecilia is pregnant. She just throws up, and in the next scene she's being confronted about her pregnancy. This convent lacks electricity, so are we supposed to believe they have pregnancy tests just lying around? It could just be me, but one other thing that doesn't make sense is when they confronted Sister Cecilia about the pregnancy. They impregnated her, but seem upset and confused she is pregnant. That could be part of the act though. While I've criticized several aspects of the film, there are some terrific things about it. One is Sydney Sweeney's acting, especially the final scene, which is just really terrific acting. The opening scene I thought was good too, and one of the scarier parts of the movie. The scariest part, though, was probably when her friend got her tongue removed by the sisters. I think it would have been better if they kept her alive and shown her in a submissive state the rest of the movie. That would have been more frightening than just seeing her corpse at the end. Overall, I'd say this film is still worth a watch and a pretty solid movie. It's not as good as many people say, in my opinion, but the acting and scenery in the film by itself really makes it a good movie. The storyline could have been improved, and to me, that would have made it a monumental film.